with this knowledge that you have, tell me what you see when you, that day, November the 30th, you're looking through the surveillance video, you're putting together when it started, where he came out of, and this is, the victims are still being treated at this point, right?
Yeah, it was, I remember it was shortly after 1 p.m. I got there and I left. It was well after dark. So I don't know what time that was, how long I was there for.
But tell us what you saw, when you put that together.
When we were reviewing the video at first, pulling the video.
Sure.
I remember at first I didn't know all the people that were involved in it, all the victims. But you see the shooter come out of the bathroom and I've watched the video so many times. He had a sense about him, like, I don't know, I call it like the proud chest. Like he walked out of there like his head was held high, like he was in charge. And I remember his finger was outside the trigger guard.
Why is that significant?
Oh, it's gun safety 101. Don't put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to pull the trigger. Okay. And he steps out and he immediately, there's Phoebe and her boyfriend Elijah, and he immediately levels the gun at them and then shoots them. And you see Elijah's hair from the blast of the bullet, like his hair he's got real curly hair and his hair just poofs up. He then turns the gun to there's Hannah and Kylie and Riley on the right side of the hallway. And he immediately turns the gun at them and fires some rounds in their direction. Then directly in front of him was John Asciutto. And I learned all these names after, and he shoots at John. And then as John runs further down the hallway, the shooter stops and he shoots again at Hannah. And at this point, she just completely falls over. Then he runs down the hallway. I don't know how to describe it, but he sprints down the hallway. He puts the gun to
Shoots Madison Baldwin.
He puts the gun to Madison Baldwin's head. And you see, as he turns to walk away, her body just slumps to the ground. He rounds the corner by door 7, where some deputies had come in after. The sun on coming through the window, the doors were so bright, you don't see him at first. And then he starts coming in the focus a little bit more, and when the sun dies down or whatever. And there were 2 girls, I don't know their names, but the one girl reaches, she was a smaller girl, a shorter girl, and she goes towards the classroom, she tries pulling the door open. And I would imagine at this time they had engaged the locks on the doors to prevent anybody from coming in. And the other girl, she had a backpack on. And she easily could have just ran past that other girl. But she slowed herself down and grabbed that girl. That would saved her life, I would say. And pulled her with her. As they're running away, you see the shooter level his gun and fire off a few rounds. In the upper corner of the video, you see like appears to be drywall or insulation. Continues on down the hallway, down the 200 hallway. Gets to the area right about a little bit further where a little bit more to the right. Yep. Gets about that area. Just then, on another camera in the area that they refer to as a cubby, Jim Ward referred to as the cubby. You see 2 students, one of being Tate Mirror, and you see the shooter level the gun and fires around. And just as Tate rounds the corner, unbeknownst to, he didn't know what was going on. He turns the corner and he just immediately falls to the ground. The shooter then continues walking, and then before he gets to where Tate is, he stops again and levels a gun just to shoot Tate one more time. And he leveled the gun, and you see Tate's body flinch after he pulled the trigger. He walks past, so Tate's laying in the doorway to go past and further into the 200 hallway to the right of the picture. And he walks past Tate without a care, didn't look at him or nothing. And as he's walking further down the hallway, he sees towards the top of the frame, you see him stop, and he turns to his left, and fires a couple rounds into an office, I believe it was. And then just continues down the hallway, gets almost all the way to the end, and he had passed a classroom. And the way the classroom is probably, right about there. The way the classroom is, the door is to the far right of the classroom, and there's a small window next to that door. So as he would have been walking to his right, or to our right, I'm sorry, he wouldn't have seen probably students hiding back in the corner of the classroom. And he turns around because he just walks right past as he looks into that area. And after he turns around, he comes back, and he must have seen students hiding in the back corner, and he just fired more rounds into the classroom. And then he keeps on walking. At this time, the assistant principal, Gibson Marshall, had seen what was happening, and she was coming up another hallway, and she's standing at the corner right where Tate was laying. And I remember her trying to get his attention. You know, she just used her foot and lightly tapped him, sort of, you know, are you okay? I don't know what she would have said to him. And Tate didn't move. And the shooter had come back towards the cubby. And as he approaches where Tate is now laying, and the assistant principal is standing there, she wasn't armed. She didn't have anything in her hand. She had a walkie-talkie. That's all she had. And you see the shooter walk past her, and almost in a, I don't know, a sense of, I don't know, shame, maybe, I don't know, but he turns his head away from where she is, turns and looks away from her. Then he continues back towards the left of the screen to right about there, and then there's a bathroom, and that's where Justin was shot. But there was no indication, I don't know why he would have, but he just made a hard right into that bathroom.
And then somebody fled the bathroom after Justin was killed.
Yeah. Keegan just came absolutely tearing out of that bathroom. I remember watching. He was running so fast. The cameras that recorded him, all it was on the camera was a blur. He was moving so fast.
Oh. Adam, so sorry, but I have to ask you about Madison again. When he got to her, she was already on the ground in a crouched position. Is that right?
She was on like, if she was on her feet and her butt was on the ground, and she was like in a fetal position, laying up against like trying to hide the best she could.
That was before she was shot. Then he walked up to her and executed her.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay.